Hey ladies, how you doing? Okay, we're back. Let's get going. Let's get going. So today I'm going to talk to you about the why behind sales. The exponential value. Yes, we're using big words today. The exponential value of sales for your life. And what does exponential mean? It means that it multiplies. When you get sales in your life, it changes everything. So, why are we making the big claim that high ticket sales can change your life? Why am I so passionate about this? Why am I telling everybody high ticket sales change my life and it can change yours too? So, really quickly, I'm going to give you 10 powerful life changing reasons learning sales can transform your life. Now, I hope you have a pen out. I hope you have a notebook out. We say note takers are successful people. Note takers are money makers. Okay. So if you're not taking notes, then you must not want to make good money. But okay, let's just jump right in here for the sake of time. So, number one, sales teaches you how to create income, not chase it. Sales teaches you how to create income, not chase it. When you understand sales, money stops feeling random or out of reach. You learn how income is created through value, not luck, degrees, or waiting on promotions. That shift alone changes how someone views opportunity forever. You understand that you are the author of your own destiny. Of course, God is the author, right? But beyond God, He allows for us to, what does the word say? Faith without works is dead. So we have to do the works. We have to go out and use those skill sets that we have inside of us so that we can see the destiny come out of us. You stop waiting for others to write your story. You stop waiting for that boss to promote you. You stop waiting for somebody to give you a raise, and you begin to decide what makes sense for you. How much money do you need to be able to live in purpose? How much money do you need to be able to go out and complete that ministry goal or go on that missions trip or be able to buy the house for your family and your children's children to be able to start those foundations? You decide what makes sense for you. Number two, sales builds unshakable confidence. Now, women, we got to have that confidence, okay? We can't be walking around with our head down, not feeling good about ourselves. When you communicate clearly, handle objections, and lead conversations, your confidence skyrockets. Sales forces you to believe in yourself before anyone else does. And that confidence spills into every area of your life: relationships, leadership, and decision making. Sometimes you have to envision yourself being someone that you aren't. I remember when I first became a financial advisor. Oh boy, did I have imposter syndrome. I was the definition of I don't belong here, right? And I was so afraid every day when I would go to work that people would look at me one day and be like, "What are you doing here? You do not belong." But guess what? No one ever did, because I did belong, because we're all on a journey to get somewhere. And as we take one step forward and we do the things and we practice and we learn, we become the person that we're envisioning. So at the beginning, when I was a financial advisor, I was learning and I was growing into who I am today. And in the process, I had to duplicate other people's success. And we're going to talk about duplication, but you want to duplicate. I remember sitting down with my aunt, who's also a very successful financial advisor, and I'm new. And I don't know, I read all the books, I learned all the stuff, I went to all the training, but now it's time for me to sit in front of clients. And I'm trying to put all the pieces together. And she sits me down and she says, "Okay, I'm going to do it for you so you can see it." What did I do? I wrote down every word. I recorded her speaking. I wrote it out and I copied it. 100%. I just did it even the laughs, the little giggles that she would do. I did it exactly like she did it. Right. And at first, I was just surviving. But at some point, it became my own because I memorized that thing. I remembered when I was supposed to do the laugh. I remembered when I was supposed to transition. I remembered what I was supposed to do at this point or at that point. And then it became my own. So we all have to start somewhere, right? But when you are somebody who's tenacious and you don't give up on yourself, and sales takes tenacity, sales takes somebody who says, I'm going after this thing and I don't care what's in my way. I'm a bull and I'm running through the finish line. Right. And so if you are that person, which I know you are because you're here, then you're going to take this thing, grab it by the horns, and ride that thing until the end. And I promise you, at first it'll feel clunky, at first it'll feel uncomfortable, but you're building confidence. Number two, sales build unshakable confidence. Okay. Number three, sales gives you control over your financial ceiling. Mm. Most people's income is capped by time, titles, or employers. Sales removes the ceiling. The better you get, the more money you earn. Your skill determines your income, not someone else's approval. Some of the most successful people on this earth, now you don't know this because they don't broadcast this because they're not movie stars. They're not, doing things in the public eye, but some of the most successful people on this earth are sales people. Sales gives you the ability to write your own destiny. Now, remember, I remember wanting to be a doctor before I got into finance. I remember going to the hospital and shadowing doctors. I was a biochemistry major because I thought that being a doctor was the top career that I could have. And I've always been extremely ambitious. But when I found sales, which is something that frees up my time and also allows me to make much more money, and I have the time as as much money as I want. I can make as much money as I can handle, as much money as what I would say my skill set can handle. My life changed forever. At 30, I was already making six figures, and none of my friends who were 30 were making six figures because of the power of sales. And as you master your skill set, you become more and more and more and more successful. And I promise you, I used to close $1 million deals. I thought that was a big deal. Closing a $1 million deal as a financial advisor. Then I started closing $5 million deals, and I thought that was a big deal as a financial advisor in sales. Then I started closing 10 and $20 million deals. And now I'm working on $100 million deals, right? And so as your skill set begins to get more developed, the ability for you to make money in sales, it grows exponentially, right? We're talking about exponential value of sales. So you can make as much money as your skill set can handle. Now, what does that mean? What does that mean? That means it doesn't mean you get to wake up and be good at sales. It means you have to work at it. You got to get up early. You got to stay up late. You got to study this stuff. You got to do your drills. You got to practice. You got to get friends. You got to connect. You got to do everything you can do to develop your skill set. What did I say? I went to my aunt and I sat at her feet and I listened to everything she was saying. And I developed what was working for her as already $1 million producer. And I took that as my own and then I developed it. Number four, sales teaches you how to influence without manipulating. Now, this is a huge one because nobody likes salespeople because some of them are not doing the right thing. True sales is about listening, understanding pain points, and guiding people to solutions. You learn how to influence ethically, which is rare and powerful in life. It's a very powerful skill to be able to influence people ethically, the right way. which applies to your life far beyond business, right? And so here in our sales academy, we do not teach you ways to get over on people, ways to get people to do things they don't want to do. Nothing like that. Everything we do is ethical. And I truly believe, you guys know I'm a pastor and I love Jesus. And I believe that when you do the right thing, the right things come to you. It might be a harder road. It might be harder to get to the right thing than another way that may have been unethical or cutting corners and things like that. But I promise you that if you do it the right way and you learn how to influence people the right way, where the right people who need what you have are coming to you, then you will build something that is unshakable and unbreakable. We're not transactional sellers. We're trying to build relationships. We're trying to build lifelong relationships. So, number 5, sales turns rejection into feedback, not failure. Sales train your mind, not, I'm sorry. Sorry, I'm a little sick. I'm a little cold. Sales trains your mind that no is not a bad thing. No stops being personal and becomes data. This rewires how someone handles rejection, fear, and setbacks, not just in business, but in life. Sales matures you as a person. When you learn how to handle rejection and failure, it changes your perspective in life from what if I fail to understanding that it's a fact that you will fail, but asking yourself, how will I bounce back when I fail? How fast can I bounce back? The word or the Bible, I know I got to slip my Bible verses in. The Bible says that the righteous fall down 7 times, but they get back up again. So even if you made a mistake that you could have avoided, the important thing is not the mistake, but the recovery. The important thing is that you take the data from the mistake and you say, okay, I'm not going to do that again. How did I get there? How did I get into that situation? How did I get myself there? And you take that and you grow. So now, before you had less information, but now you have more information so you can go to that next level. So I've had my fair share of mistakes. Some of you guys know, right? Some were self-inflicted and some just happened to me. But one thing that I can say is that I never gave up and I always kept believing in myself. Now, I'm not going to lie, there were days when I was so depressed and I was so hurt and I was so ashamed and I was just so done that all I could do was, if you know me, I hide under the covers. I lay on the floor with my arms and legs spread out. But I give myself enough time to have that moment and be a human being. And then what do? I get up and I keep going. So at some point, when you are somebody who has mastered what I call mastering the art of failure, and I'm actually writing a book about this, it's called Failing Up. But at some point, I understood that there were so many people out there just like me who have been through some things and making the same mistakes as me. They had been through a few things. They had been left behind. They've been overlooked. They've been written off. When I got pregnant in college, everybody was like, oh, that's it for her. And they needed someone like me to rise from the ashes and show everybody else how it's done. And that could be you, right? Okay, number 6. We gotta hurry. 6, sales sharpens communication at every level. Now, communication is important, not just in sales, not just in your career, but in every area of your life. You learn how to ask better questions, articulate value, read people, and speak with clarity. Strong communication opens doors in careers, relationships, negotiations, and leadership. Having the opportunity to connect with people of all walks of life can be a game changer in your life in general. Every experience is a learning experience. Throughout my career, I have not only been the salesperson, I've been the friend, I have been the family member when no one else is there. I have a client right now where once a month I go because she's in hospice and I go and I sit with her and I watch TV with her and I help her, change her address or send out emails or whatever it is. It's a part of the job and I love it. It's a relationship. Sometimes as a salesperson, you are not just a salesperson, you're the shoulder to cry on. You're the therapist. You're speaking life into people who feel like they lost it all. I've been in situations where people went through divorce, where they're at the end of their rope financially. They don't know what to do. Whatever it is, I am something more than just somebody giving somebody a product. I'm an encourager. I'm a coach. I'm somebody who can change somebody's life. And the whole slew of things, I can be a whole slew of things for my clients. I show up for them however they need me to. And that is what builds lifelong relationships. That is what builds trust. Now, you never want to burn a relationship, right? Because those relationships can come back around. You never know when you may need that person or when they may need you. And so we're not in the business of just getting things from people, but we want to change people's lives. We want people to come back to us and say, wow, thank you. If you hadn't pushed me to this thing, my life wouldn't have been changed. Number 7, sales develops emotional intelligence. I'm going to say that one again because there's so many people who lack emotional intelligence. Sales develops emotional intelligence. You cannot sell without understanding people. So, a part of the sales training, a part of your development is going to be to learn people, to learn how people work. What makes people tick? How is it that you can get people to the finish line? Sales teaches emotional awareness, empathy, and how to stay grounded under pressure. Skills most people never intentionally develop. There's no class in school that's teaching about emotional intelligence. And a lot of the parents, they don't have emotional intelligence, so they can't teach their kids about emotional intelligence. Being able to relate to people and what they are going through is such a valuable trait. It is a skill that you gain naturally from sales because you have to do it every day, over and over and over again. And at some point, it just becomes a part of who you are. But it transcends into every area of your life, business, life, your intimate relationships with your partner, your children, and even in ministry and in your volunteer work and whatever relationships you have. It transcends just yourselves, your business, and your job. So it's a huge skill. Okay, number 8, sales creates freedom and flexibility. Now, this is my favorite one. Sales skills can be used from anywhere, in any economy, and across industries. So, getting your skills up in sales is going to be life changing. Whether you do high ticket sales, whether you become a financial advisor, whether you go into some crazy, niche thing, having your skills up in sales, it translates across every industry. That portability creates freedom, geographic freedom, time freedom, and choice. It makes you more valuable. It allows people to be able to pay you what you're worth, right? And so I know it's going to work out for you guys. I know you're going to do the high ticket sales thing, but let's say that you get the skill set, but then you decide to go back to corporate America. These skill sets that you're developing here will change everything for you in corporate America. You'll go from being unsure to not knowing to being confident and being able to deliver on a level that you had never been able to deliver before. One of the main reasons that I went into sales was because I wanted to be present in my children's lives. I was looking for something that would allow me to go to soccer games and to go to piano practices and assemblies in the middle of the day and being able to be the room parent and without compromising my ability to be successful. Right? A lot of moms are able to do it, but they have to stay home. They gotta, and I didn't want to do that because I've always been ambitious. I always knew I wanted to work. Even when I had the ability, when I was married, I still wanted to work. I still had this ambition in me. And so sell allowed for that. When I was growing up, my mom, she's an amazing mom. I love you, mom. But as you all know, she was in her 20s when she had me and she was struggling. And life, it was real for her. Okay, some of us know about that. I know about it because I was a kid growing up in it. And she would have to work multiple jobs just to keep food on the table. So what did that mean? That meant me as one of the oldest. I have an older brother, but he's like the baby. So I basically raised my siblings. And they weren't, like my mom wasn't around. She didn't get to go to my track practices. She didn't get to go to everything because she had to provide. She was a great mom for doing that. But my goal was to be able to go to those things, to have the flexibility. So as a mom, I wanted something more for my children and my family, and I have the ability to write that destiny for my life. So yes, I'm a single mom, and I'm happy to say that I've never missed a soccer game. I've never missed an assembly, or maybe one or two, but it wasn't because I had work. I've been the room mom, and I have been present in my kids' lives. When they come home from school, I'm home. I'm with them. I'm able to give them dinner and take care of them. And that is all due to sales and the flexibility that I have in this industry. I was able to do this without also reducing my quality of life. I make more money than some people who work 9 to 5 jobs. In sales, I make more money than, a lot of people even in corporate America, fortunately. And I didn't even realize that until recently when I started looking into it. And I'm still killing it at work. I can go to the soccer game and have a $1 million day at the same time. I can go to piano practice and an assembly in the same day. That's what I'm doing today. We have an assembly this morning at 8. Then I got piano practice at 3. And I still have to go to work, close deals, kill it, meet with clients, stop at clients' houses, help them do things, take care of things. And I'm doing it all in one day. As moms, we shouldn't have to compromise our financial success just to be able to be a good mom, right? And that is why sales is a great vehicle for you to be able to be a successful mom and do everything that you want to do. Sales makes that possible. Okay, number 9. Sales builds resilience and discipline. I'm going to say that again. I'm going to slap somebody. Boom. Boom. Ow. Sales builds resilience and discipline. Showing up, following up, staying consistent builds mental toughness. Sales teaches you how to perform even when you don't feel motivated, which is the foundation of success in anything. Now, this is my theory. Sales is a machine, and you only get out what you put in. So sales is not like a 9 to 5 where you go, you clock in, and you just do whatever you're supposed to do that day, and then you leave and you get paid and you're doing a great job. No. If you don't strengthen up your skill set, if you don't keep showing up every day, if you don't learn from your mistakes, if you don't put in the time and the work, you're not going to get out what you're putting. Well, you're going to get out exactly what you're putting in. You're going to get nothing because you didn't put anything in. So if you're going to be successful in sales, and I know you are because you're here and you're listening to this and you're taking the time already to develop yourself and to pour into yourself, then you're going to have to develop some mental toughness. How is mental toughness built? By showing up, by doing the things, by facing the no's, by overcoming rejection, by overcoming feeling like a failure. Because there'll be days when you don't make any sales. There'll be days when everybody hangs up in your face. There'll be days when people yelled at you, when people weren't nice to you. But guess what? If you keep showing up every day, it builds mental toughness. Now, why do most of the most successful people run in the mornings? And I wish I was one of those people, but I'm gonna be one of those people starting today. Boom, we're doing it. But the main point is people who run, I found this statistic, people who run have mental toughness. Why? Because they challenge their body. People who work out daily, why are they working out daily? Because they want to be cute? Maybe. But there's another level of mental toughness that they built inside of themselves to combat that desire to just stay in bed when it's time to get up, right? And so it's important for you to develop mental toughness. Sales is not going to give you anything that you don't deserve. So I'm not telling you come over here and learn my scripts and just try it out. It's not going to be that hard and you're going to make millions of dollars. You're going to kill it. Your whole life is going to be changed. No, I'm not telling you that. Because if you don't put in the work, if you don't work hard, if you don't get up early and drill and practice and reach out and try to make sure that you are the best version of yourself, then you're not going to reach that success. I get up in the mornings and I train my mind daily, and so does my team. We have statutes in our business where it's like in the morning we're watching some sort of a personal development video on YouTube. They're listening to drills, which is like practices and trainings, and they're consistently listening to the same training so that they have that stuff in them. And so when it's time, they know what to do. It's not a mistake that they're successful. Sales a machine. You get out of it what you put in. So I time block on my calendar every single day, time for me to train my mind, time for me to practice, time for me to develop so that I can be able to be successful. And I promise you, there's some nights, like even last night, I was up until like 1 a.m. working, putting in work so that I can be successful. You get out what you put in, sells the machine. Number 10, the last and final one, okay? Number 10, sales teaches you that you are the asset. Sales teaches you that you are the asset. Once someone realizes that they are the value, not the company, not the boss, not the job, they stop playing small. Sales shows people how to monetize their voice, knowledge, and presence, which is extremely empowering. Now, when I first started, I would look for small deals that I felt that I was worthy of. I would look for like 100,000 to invest. I would play myself down because I didn't realize the value that was inside of me. I didn't know how to speak the talk, or talk the talk and walk the walk and feel confident in what I was saying. And I want you to know something. People purchase you before they ever purchase your product. People are looking at the way that you put yourself together. They're looking at the way that you walk into the room. Is your head up? Are you speaking confidently? Are you exuding confidence? Or are you shy, unsure, unconfident? You are the asset. That's why there can be two people with the same sales job. Some people are killing it. Some people are closing $100 million deals. And some people are still looking for those $100,000 deals. When you understand that, you will carry yourself differently because you realize that you have something that people want. You have something that people need. The ability to connect needs to products and services is a very valuable skill. And most people are grateful to find someone who is knowledgeable and can help them to solve their problems. I had never thought of myself as a salesperson because I'm not a salesperson. I am a problem solver and I'm pretty good at what I do. That's why I went from $1 million deals to $5 million deals to $10 million deals to hundreds of millions of dollars in the things that I'm closing. And I know that in the next year or so, I'll come across my $1 billion deals because I know who I am and I'm able to connect needs to solutions. Now, what do people do when they go to the doctor? They're not looking for a doctor who's like, oh, I could help you. They have, let's say you broke your arm and you go in and they're like, oh, do you want this cast? You know? No, they're going to come in and say, okay, so your arm is broken. Fact find, understand what's going on with you. And then they're going to tell you, well, this is my recommendation. And how much do you appreciate a doctor who knows what to do and who does it confidently? We all appreciate that. And so, how much more will your clients and your relationships, the people who you come across, appreciate you for being able to connect their needs to a solution? Be a problem solver, not a salesperson. So, in closing, I always say this: there is nothing special about me. I just have the right information and I made some good choices with that information. So remember this: information changes situations. All right, so I've said all I need to say. And I hope that was enlightening for some of you guys to know the exponential value of sales, the exponential value of sales. And why are we making this big claim that sales can change your life? Because it can change every area of your life. And we just went over that in this last bit of time. I don't know how long we've been on here, 30 minutes. But I hope this was enlightening and that someone feels more empowered to run into their destiny, to be able to go after their goals, to go after their dreams. And I promise you, if you go after it and you put in the work and you keep showing up, you will see the success that you have never seen before and the success that you always dreamed about. So remember, we say Godspeed because God is the driving force behind everything that we do. Okay? So I'll see you guys soon. Bye.